The stream should be up now. Agrees. I should probably set it to live on SceneSet first. Come on, Facebook, you can do it. Let's check if Twitch is already streaming. Yes, on Twitch we are streaming. Should be live on SceneSet as well, so it should be sending to Facebook, but of course Facebook is always that complicated thing that doesn't quite seem to work. Even though the key is correct. Let me check if it's working on SceneSet at all. If I can remember the URL for SceneSet, for the video part of SceneSet. Just the video streams, I guess. Mystery Demoscene Theater. Yes, it is working on SceneSet. Yeah, so it's Facebook that's screwing up. I guess that's fine. Maybe I can try deactivating and activating it again. Maybe it will magically work. Yes, activate. See if it shows up. Because it was down, Facebook, they changed their API a bit, so SceneSet was having some trouble connecting it. Now it seems to be working. And then it was working 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it's working now. I'll just go live on Facebook. That's that. And not hit finish, because otherwise it will end the stream, and I don't want that. Okay, we're good. So we are streaming everywhere. We're just missing the guests. We're supposed to have Phoenix of Hornet and BarZoule of Balls and Northern Dragons. BarZoule said that he would be running late. Phoenix is around, he's just not on Skype just yet. Well, he is on Skype, but not available for a call. So meanwhile, I will play the pre-show. And announce this a little bit on social media. Hello Anthony, Hardy, Senstal, Laced Mushroom, welcome to the stream. How are you guys doing? I'm a bit weary that we won't have all the guests today. I know Phoenix is around, but I'm weary that BarZoule won't show up in time. And we only have 2 guests today. So yeah, if one of them doesn't make it, it's gonna be weird, but we'll venture through it. Maybe I'll put the sound of the demo a little louder. Check the volumes. This demo is way too low on the YouTube capture. Yeah, it's the YouTube capture that's very low. So the next one will be extremely loud and explode everyone's brain. Okay, let's announce this on IRC as well. On IRC. That's enough. Channel revision. I think everyone is in revision. I'm doing good. Yeah, ears are overhated. Who needs ears anyways? Thank you, Laced Mushroom, for showing up on my other streams, by the way. I appreciate it. Are you originally from the demo scene? Because I don't recognize your nickname. So, did you end up following my channel? Or are you like, do I actually know you and I'm not recognizing the Laced Mushroom nickname? Because I'm a silly person. Okay, Phoenix from Hornet is ready. Okay, so I'm gonna call him, I guess. Let me finish... where is the... I clicked connect. Oh, full screen, nice. Full screen is important. Why isn't Mibit working properly? That's what I would like to know. I click connect, but nothing happens. Oh, it's IRCnet on the side. It's just not connecting to the channels. Let me try join revision. Oh crap. So IRCnet isn't working on Mibit by some reason. That sucks. Okay, so let's change up to the next demo. Lower the volume before we all end up deaf. Oh, Leander was your nickname. Then Radon, all credits as video encoder. Okay. Hey Trickster, how you doing? We're gonna try to get Phoenix on the call now. So let me call him, see if he picks up.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey Phoenix, yes I can hear you. Be aware that you are live on the stream, on the pre-show already.
No problem.
So whatever you say, it's forever on record. Let me try to show your image actually, because people only can hear you right now, but I think... Oh, actually, yeah, there's a little window thingy here that people are seeing. Okay, close this. So how you doing, Phoenix? You good?
I'm doing alright.
I'm a bit worried if BarZoule is gonna make it or not, so I'm a bit... what's the word for it? Not freaking out, but restless? I don't know the proper...
Anxious, I guess.
Yeah, anxious.
We'll see. Can you... surprised you couldn't get a third person on the show.
I didn't really look, because since it was supposed to start 1 hour later, I figured usually people with free guests are already feeling that it's dragging on too much. So I think 2 people is good, except of course for the case where one of them doesn't make it, and then...
Then you need a backup.
Yeah, that it's not so good.
Or you can just talk with me, I guess. I guess I can keep people entertained.
Yeah, I think it will work either way, but I would really like to have BarZoule, mostly because of the text demo compo thing.
Yeah, with TMDC, it'd be a good promotion for it.
Yeah, especially since people are saying that it might be the last year that it happens. So I was hoping to give it a little bump and have more people participating in it. Are you doing anything for it, or are you busy with other stuff?
No, I won't be doing anything for it. I don't know if you could call me busy or not necessarily, but I don't know. I never really thought of doing it. I suppose I could, but
here's the hint: you still have 1 month, so it should be more than enough.
Yeah.
Trickster says hi. By the way, he's on the chat. He's not sure if he can stay. He just wanted to show support for the North American scene.
Yay! Hey, Trickster.
You already have 10 viewers on, so yeah. I'm just hoping BarZoule shows up. So did you check the list of your demos, Phoenix? Are you good with those 8 or 9 that I picked?
Yeah, I mean, I should be good with that. I can check it one more time. If I can. Yeah, that should be good.
I'm thinking if we ever did a TPOLM and Dennis Courtney 5 collaboration, because I know we share some members and stuff, but did we do like an official collaboration at some point? Maybe isn't Cyberman 3, isn't that a collaboration?
I don't really think so.
Cyberman 4
Axel
maybe?
And Axel was probably the closest link between the two groups. He did a couple things for DC5, and I know Thor was kind of interested in it too, and CyberC, that was kind of our Swedish division for a little bit. But no, there was never a DC5 versus TPOLM, unfortunately.
Yeah, that is something. Well, we can still fix that. I mean, we're both still active. I guess we can try something. Yeah, people still
exist, so just have to find some more guys over here.
I always took a look at the DC5 as like the North American TPOLM, for like the attitude in making the demos.
Yeah. I mean, you know, without TPOLM, it probably wouldn't have been the same. Definitely a big inspiration. You know, I kind of loved the wackiness of it back then, and just like, oh, you know, I can do this kind of stuff. And you know, we kind of on IRC, you know, we kind of had the same attitude, and it's like, you know, either we're drunk or we're just kind of in a silly mood, and it's like, oh, hey, let's, you know, want to do a quick basic little intro, and then everyone did it, and then they put it all together, and that's how the CAC intro came along. It's like 15-minute quick basic effects.
I'm seeing that there is a Drink Your TPOLM release by Dennis Courtney 5, which is like a demo pack of TPOLM intros that you made it run on the Windows, apparently.
Yeah, I just had the idea. It's because I had Windows 98 at the time, and you know, so I could still run DOS stuff. You know, I was trying to run some TPOLM things, and it's like, oh, hey, you know, I kind of want to try the idea of making a pack disk or whatever it is, and also you had to, since most of them were in Pascal, you had to patch them to make them work on fast machines. So I figured, hey, if I could do that, and I can put up a little menu, and I got like a chiptune from distance, and it was I thought it was a pretty cool idea at the time. Unfortunately, of course, once everybody got Windows XP, it didn't really work anymore. But
so you should do a new version, but I guess too much work.
Yeah,
now with the DOS
everyone's
box,
got emulators now, so
yeah, do like a DOS box front end for the old stuff. People are saying on the chat that they are having some troubles with the chat. Yeah, Twitch seems a bit weird today. I had some troubles getting the chat working in Restream at all, but it's working now, so works, don't touch it. So we still have 15 minutes to go.
Alright, hopefully BarZoule shows up.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we're watching some Atari ST demo from Alchemy, I believe, from MJJ Productions. You've been very busy on Puet, adding old stuff to the thing. Are you going like through the old archives of Hornet and seeing what's missing?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I've been kind of hooked on adding stuff lately, and going through. First, I went through the Escape CD, and then I'm going through Hornet and about finishing it up.
Do you try to run them with DOSBox, or is just checking if it is on the database?
I like to try to run each and every single one. I don't like to add stuff without looking at it first, just in case it's like so horribly awful that I would be ashamed to have my name associated with it. To be fair, I am going through Rectum Cauda, which was a Norwegian joke group in the mid-90s, so
You deserve your name associated with Rectum Galba. Everyone does.
Well, going through some of their old stuff and watching them, you know, I'm thinking that's kind of DC5-ish too. So I got to give them a little bit of credit.
I think most of their stuff is like party-coded joke prods.
Yeah, it's like half of the prods I'm going through 96, 97 are from the same party. I guess it's kind of the same thing ESO did too, where it's just, let's enter 10 things, and why the hell not? But
ESO wants to dominate the world. They have like what's it called? Not an ethos, but like a standard of quality that they need to maintain. Or something like that.
I don't know. I mean, you know, half the stuff they all release if it's in Finnish or Norwegian. So I don't understand what half of it is. I tried translating a little bit of it and thinking, oh, okay, that's cute. it makes, you know, whether it makes sense or not, it's still amusing. That's the idea.
The other day I ran into an old website that you had called Demodulate, where you used to like collect modules from old demos and stuff. That's like completely deprecated now. Do you still upkeep it, or?
No, I started it in 2002 and went with it for a few years, but eventually I just sort of lost interest in it. At least I took the step toward putting all the downloads on scene.org, so whenever you click on something, it just goes to that file. So thankfully, it actually it works. I think the search bar doesn't work, but you can click on the demo titles and it'll take you to the FTP. So if someone just wanted to leech everything at once, they could do that too. Yeah, that's one of the many collection ideas that I had.
I think it's especially useful if you're like into ripping old stuff, either games or demos, to try to get you know, resources out of it. You have like a collection of D-packers and stuff like that that really helps people with that.
Yeah, there was some tips on it as well, especially for ripping DOS era stuff, but you know, I'm sure if people still wanted to rip anything from Windows intros for whatever reason, they could, although everything now is not really mod. Anything in intros is going to be made with some kind of synthesis or procedural, so kind of a lost art, I guess.
Yeah, now it's a lot harder to rip stuff.
But, I mean, people are pretty good about putting their music online and available. Back then it was, you know, it was so tough finding it, you know, outside of that. But now I think people are pretty good that if you ask them, hey, do you have like if it's like Ruby noise or something, then they'll send it to you. Now,
like, when on the day that the demo is released, usually you have the MP3 available of it, so it's pretty useful.
Yeah. Yep.
It would be nice if you get, like, the cool point of being a mod is that you have like access to the source file itself, let's call it that, because you have all the patterns there and all the samples and all that kind of stuff. And that really helps if you want to, you know, see how it was done, maybe remix it or something like that. And nowadays it's a lot harder because you only have like the final result. You don't have, you know, especially with intros, you don't have those soft synth patches and that kind of stuff that would really help you learn how the thing was made.
Yeah, of course. I you know, I ripped some of the samples and got a lot of ideas from the modules from demos. But one great thing is that if you have the original mods, there are good players now where you can you know, replay them at 16-bit, 48 kilohertz or whatever, and you know, like with XM Play, you can save all the samples individually. So if you want to like remaster an old module from 1992 and make it sound, you know, as good as a modern MP3, you can kind of do so.
Yeah. People are talking on the chat how hard it is to keep like a big project going. Hardy saying that he only does small projects now because it's a lot easier to upkeep. Like, you do it and then it's closed, and you don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, I know this adding stuff to Poet has been kind of an ongoing thing, but I guess I've been doing it because it's easy and like contributing, and I was going back and forth between Demoscene and found like for Demoscene, anything that seems to be related to a demo party, they seem to have on there. You know, whether it's Dip Switch or Menace or someone else, they kind of went through obsessively through each party that was on scene.org and had an entry for everything, even if they don't really have a download for it.
Yeah, if they don't have the binaries. They did like a script that goes through the result files and automatically adds stuff. So that's how they populated most of the stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think once I'm finally done adding old crap to Pouet, I'll probably get in touch with them and maybe see about syncing up some of the stuff. I
think they have some scripts to check Pouet for new stuff and put it there automatically. Yeah. So they have that part pretty much covered.
That's cool. Yeah.
But the great thing about demos is that it has proper credits for like the people involved. So if you want to check all your stuff, you can find like when I check all the lists of demos that I contributed to in Pouet, I only have the demos. But if I go to Demoscene, I have the tracks that I released on music combos that I don't even remember anymore and that kind of stuff. So it's more thorough, which is good.
Yep, there's a lot of stuff out there that's long forgotten.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I mean, like stuff that if nobody bothered to save it on a site, or if scene.org didn't exist, probably would have been lost 20 years ago.
Yeah, I'm involved with archiving, and I have stuff that I released that I don't have anymore, and it's like completely lost. Like we did this invitation for one of the Inertias. It was like I made it in collaboration with Elf of Cyberpunk Unity. It was released at Chaos Constructions or something like that. It was just like very small intro, just black and white background saying don't forget to come to Inertia Demo Party 2005, but for the Spectrum. And that's completely lost. Like, I don't have it, he doesn't have it, the organizers don't have it, no one has it, so it happens.
Actually, I've been going through also the Wayback Machine on archive.org, looking at all the group scene sites, seeing what I can find there.
Yeah, I tried that as well, but unfortunately the site that was hosted was at inertia.scene.org, funnily enough, and it wasn't backed up on Wayback Machine, or the binaries weren't there, so I see the page as it was back then, but the binary is missing, so
yeah,
bummer.
That's true. Like I was finding out about old, especially like either Russian scene stuff, or I was checking out Romanian scene stuff.
Yeah, I saw you added stuff from Dracula and stuff. I heard about that party. I've never seen any productions from it, so I was very curious when you started adding that stuff.
Yeah, well, I found a little bit of info on Demoscene, but then I took, websites, and there was like one blog entry, and then there was someone else reports that had a lot of cool information on them, at least their party experience. Didn't realize it's like, oh wow, they had these parties for 5 years or so. But yeah, getting the releases was a little harder. Those I found I added to Pouet, but there's a few others they talk about that are probably missing, gone. Yeah, and like you say, even if they had the zip on their old website way back then, you don't always get those.
Yeah, the binaries. That's a shame. Yeah, I'm struggling. I like my list of stuff that is missing on Pouet. I get that warning when I log in that I have 7 missing links, and 4 of them are BBSs from a group called Universe, which was a Russian group, and they had a page hosted at planetd.net, and that was the only location where they had the files. And I lost contact with the programmer, that was the name, his nickname, of the coder. So I lost contact with him. The page is down. I have no way of finding those intros anymore.
Yeah.
It's the struggles of being a Demoscene archivist.
Well, have to be amazed at how much we've managed to get back. But yeah, it's like you want to get everything, and there's stuff that's like you still want to find out about, and can't quite get 100% of it.
Okay, so BarZoule seems to be around. Ready to check mics? Yeah. Let's see if he can join the call. Sorry about the visual thing on Skype. Hope BarZoule manages to join. Okay, see if he can join.
Hello.
Hey BarZoule, how you doing?
Very good, and you?
I'm good, I'm good. Your video isn't working though.
It's not working?
No, I only
Like
see...
that?
Oh well, now it's loading.
Oops,
Now it's
loaded.
working.
There you are.
Awesome. Thank you. So how was the
Buzz.
moving stuff going that made you run late? Everything got moved? Okay, that's good. Let me set up the names here. This is not Bright Light. Bright Light was 2 weeks ago. This is BarZoule of Northern Dragons. Okay. I think I'm gonna put... Okay, Northern Dragons fits. Okay, that's good. Welcome BarZoule, how you doing? You still have 5 minutes before the show actually starts, so you arrived just in time.
Yeah. Alright.
Did you check the link of Watch Together? There's like a playlist there. That lists...
haven't looked at that, no.
Okay, so I'll post it again. It contains like the demos that we will play when your part of the interview starts. So check that playlist and see if it's okay, or if you would like something to be changed. If you please.
Probably all fine. But where is it?
I just posted here on Skype, so check the chat. You have to click the little talk button thingy.
So it should be the text chat on the left or something, I suppose.
Yeah. I can put it on your personal as well, so maybe this is easier. Because when the video is on, it maximizes everything, so it's harder to find the chat.
Yeah, but I see the chat actually.
Okay, so that's a link to the Watch Together page, and on Watch Together on the bottom left.
Yeah, right. I see the link now.
Okay, on the bottom left you can change the playlists and see we have one for pre-show, which is the one that is currently, or was currently, working. And then you have a playlist for Phoenix, and then you have playlist for you.
Okay. Yeah, but it's like good stuff. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Oh yeah, I need one demo from you that like made you want to get active in the demo scene. Yeah, it's a tricky question, I know.
The oldest one I can remember would be something by Cubic and Scene. It's
like Toasted?
very old stuff. Hmm?
Toasted or another one?
I think it was another one, but Toasted could work. Actually, it was like a couple of them.
Well, if you have another one, it would be better, because we already shown Toasted before on the show, so like the diversity would be better. Maybe Las Raimbong?
The intro with the rubber duck at the end.
It's been so much, so long, can't remember.
Yeah, but Last Raimbong was a pretty known intro at the time, so maybe, I guess, we'll play that one, and if you disagree with that one, we can play something else. Meanwhile, we're watching All Aboard the Import Train, and this is not a TMDC invitation by some reason, but it's pretty cool and uses ANSI graphics a lot, so cool stuff.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, if you pause, it pauses for everyone.
Oh.
So now you know. The volume is independent. You can change it without affecting the other person. But not the rest.
Alright, I won't touch that then.
I think BarZoule died though. The video seems frozen.
Oh no.
Yeah. Hey Branch, welcome to the stream, and everyone at the Ren Christmas party. I start speaking with a Finnish accent immediately. That's so weird. Ren Christmas party. Okay, so BarZoule died. I hope he can come back in. There he comes.
Yeah.
Okay. Your video died for a second there. There we go. Now it works again. Okay, that's good. And it is 10 o'clock, so I guess we might as well start the show. So welcome everybody to Mystery Demoscene Theater 9000, Season 2, Episode 15. This is the last episode of this season. We will take a small Christmas break in December. We'll be back in January with Season 3 of the show. For the last show of this season, we have with me two American Demosceners. The first one is BarZoule of Northern Dragons and Balls and a few other groups, I believe. And then we have Phoenix of Hornet and Denny's Courtney 5. So hello guys, how you guys doing? Everyone good?
Yeah.
Yep, doing great. Good to be here.
That is what is most important. So I guess we'll start with BarZoule first. So BarZoule, tell me, how did you get involved with the demo scene?
It was in the late 90s. I was actually doing some programmation and was looking for tutorials and stuff for Turbo Pascal. So I remember at one point I was looking for TP7 demos, and I stumbled on a package of demos from the Party 7 or something like that. I was really intrigued into what that stuff was supposed to be and how those demos were not actually interactive or whatever. And I started to kind of searching into that, trying to find what it was about. It started like that.
So how did you end up joining Northern Dragons?
It was actually it was on Ojuice. For those who remember Ojuice,
yeah,
there was some dude called Polaris who was looking for people, and since I had registered as a Canadian, he was like, "Oh, another Canadian! Please join the Northern Dragons." And yeah, joined in. And
was this before those demo parties? Before Coma, was it?
I wasn't there. I didn't know actually that there had been any demo parties in Canada or like in Montreal. So I missed those. Even if I thought I was like at least interested by the demo scene, if not an active member of.
I think Phoenix, you went to Nate, right?
Yep, I went to the Nades.
And those were in Canada, right?
Yep, they were in the Montreal area.
Okay, so Phoenix has mileage on you.
Yeah.
So we're watching a demo. This is the first demo that I could find from you. It's called Step Back. So what can you tell us of this demo besides that it's very short?
It's 4K intro. Wanted to do something really different from what we had seen. We actually went with the GDI API on Windows to get really basic 2D stuff. We wanted to have some of YouTube feeling with some false video on it. And yeah, it was also some kind of homage to old demos, you know, the old Amiga things.
Yeah. So, did I ask you already, how did you end up joining Northern Dragons? Was because of Orange Juice? But I mean, most of the guys from Northern Dragons are from the US. Do you guys actually get together or used to get together to do demos, or was it all just remote work?
Actually, there's most of the Northern Dragons were from Canada, actually.
Oh, okay.
Or at least a good bunch of them. Polaris and Syntax was, and a bunch of other guys who went more or less inactive since. The Rush was from, can't tell, I think it was from Alberta, but I'm not sure. But he then moved south to Seattle. But yeah, when we really most of the time work remote. There's sometimes we've been working together, but it's been kind of rare to work, like physically at the same time, same place.
So, what's your favorite demos from all the stuff that you participated in?
I think the one we're looking at right now, Sunset, was one of the few ones that was, you know, it kind of clicked and worked well. You know, we weren't sure what we were going to do. We had some very blurry ideas of what we could do. But yeah, it was almost 100 the party prod. We're on site and we started stuff together. Yeah, we brought Vert in to do the music, and I remember we were like talking together with like this but more this and that, and yeah, he really got the idea particularly. Yeah,
it seems like demos work a little better when you're when you give faster feedback, like when you're together as a team. You get immediate feedback from other people. It usually goes a bit better. Did you guys ever come to any European parties?
I was at the Breakpoint, the last one, I think was 2009 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only time. And you, Phoenix?
Yeah, first one I went to was the Gathering '98, and after that, Mecha Symposium '01, Breakpoint '03, Assembly '02.
Yeah, you were at Assembly. I remember an Assembly where I met you, maybe 2000 or 2002. Yeah.
'02. Yeah. Yeah, that was, you know, I had to get to Assembly at some point in my life, so I did it. And then I went back to Breakpoint in '07, and that was the last European party I've been to.
Okay.
Someday I'll get back there.
It's coming close. Okay, so next demo that we have lined up on the playlist is Pimp My Script, which is a text mode entry. So when did you get interested in text mode, BarZoule?
I think it was when we saw there was S-Tech, who was member of the Northern Dragons at the time, before he left to start third-party demos. He made a really simple text mode. It was a 4K ray trace certain spheres and stuff. And that's how I learned that that thing existed. And I thought it was like super interesting to see, you know, the mix of like cool technology, like current gen with really old graphic characters, like that.
It's very funny because the US scene is very known for having a strong Ashi and Nancy scene. Like a lot of art groups and stuff are known for having prominent American members. So it's interesting that like new groups, new demo scene groups are rediscovering text mode without having that connection with the Ashi and Nancy scene that dominated the American scene for so long.
Yeah, for sure.
So then you ended up being an organizer of text mode demo compos somehow, or how did that happen?
It was well, when after the time I learned it existed, we participated to, I think, 2 or 3 text mode demo competitions, and at one point it was really fun to make text mode demos, but then saw that they won the TMDC, and it was me and Gary Brush who were chatting together saying, well, it's so fun to make those demos. I'm gonna continue like every date, every week, no matter if there's a compo or not. I'm gonna continue making demos. And it was like, yeah, but maybe we could take over that organization and just let it live a little longer. So we asked for permission. They give us permission to make it alive again. So it was simple as that. Yeah.
I remember this invitation in particular with the robots was really
now
cool.
I'm looking at your face and we're moving. I'm gonna disconnect and reconnect again. I think I've lost.
Okay. So this is the invitation to I believe 3 years ago. We're currently on text mode demo compo 20. And this was for the 17 with a robot. So BarZoule manages to rejoin the call. Nothing like turning it off and on again. Or I'm the one who left the call apparently. Hello?
Hello!
Okay, so now it's working again.
Yay!
Okay,
I have
so we
audio for BarZoule, but no video.
No video?
It's loading. Sorry for the technical difficulty, guys. We are just drinking some Wisconsin Moonshine, so it's usual that we don't have video. We can't see anything. Try turning the video off and on again, BarZoule.
Is it better? Is it working?
Nope, still loading. Yeah, people in the chat are asking if this is the new net neutrality. Yeah, this is what awaits us all. You want to have a video call, but all you have is a spinning spinner.
You need to upgrade to the Elite Ultra Gold plan.
Yeah. The next packet. So I guess you'll go audio only from here on out, BarZoule. So what can you tell us of Wisconsin Moonchild? What was the idea behind this demo?
This came from Poet, actually. There was before that demo, we did something that was California Sunshine, like some trippy, more or less LCD trip thing, LSD trip thing, and then someone in the comments said something like, yeah, I would have rather. I would have preferred Wisconsin Moonshine instead. And I've been wanting to make some really American-ish demos for some time, so it was like the right thing. So yeah, for a party, I'm gonna bring booze and guns and cash.
Very American.
Explosions.
And these greetings are great. Like all the groups are labels, and you're just destroying the bottles.
I've been drawing those labels. There was still some greetings left, and I'm gonna make them. But in the end, it was all there. So.
I love this one.
Yeah, I always like the clever greetings that you did. I remember there was the one you did for Les Poils, or with like shaving over the hair and having group greets come in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so this next one that we're watching now is the current text mode demo compo invitation that you just released like last week. And you had this great idea to make it look like it's a modem loading the BBS contact.
Yeah, there's been so much people asking for more actual as part of the text mode demos. Actually, the plan was to find someone to make actual, a real NC to make real NC stuff, but it didn't work out so well. So I went on and decided to make something myself. But there's still some parts of actual real text characters and not just version.
And I seen this thread on Poet where you've been discussing with Sol a lot about doing another version of the converter, because a couple of years ago everyone seemed to use the same converter for graphics to text mode, and you guys seem to be really having a lot of discussion on different types of converters and people doing their own custom converters. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, like 10 years ago when and more than, when I started
and you just died. Maybe if you try turning it off and on again. Okay, let's hope we can get BarZoule back. There he is!
There he is.
Welcome back. So you were saying?
We're all using libcaca, which was a great library. You feed it bitmap and it outputs ASCII characters. It was nice, but it also has limitations. If you don't control the output, you can do exactly what you want. At least you could customize the character palette. So if you want to use the third block, you can. If you want to use like circles, dots, or dashes, you could also. But something that I really wanted to achieve was to have Subpixel AntiAliasing, or whatever you call that, but to have, because you know there's the shape of the character. If we can use the half block as a half block and use dashes or stuff like that for what they are, it does quite a lot more resolution. So it's one of the incentives to make your own converter, also to get better definition on the colors. I remember seeing it was music stuff, which was looking very, very great. The brainstorm demos. There's a couple remarkers that were very, very looking good. Lots of details in the colors. So there's different approaches, and yeah, you can go way beyond the standard libcaca.
Yeah, because some people use like the full alphabet, and other people only use like those grayscale gradients that exist on the ANSI, so that can give you different look of things.
Yeah.
So it depends a lot on what you want to do.
Yeah. Something that can be very interesting also that I haven't done, but I wanted to do it, and then brainstorm did a demo using that, is to have different palettes of characters, like squares for one shape and circles for another one, and playing with that to have some kind of textures in addition to have the gradients.
Yeah, that could be interesting. So I think there's still a lot of things that could be done with text mode. One of the issues with text mode that people were having is that it wasn't easy to get it running on the modern Windows machines.
Yeah, it's not so much that it's hard to get it to run, but it's hard to get it to run in full screen. And with the screens that are getting higher and higher def, you end up with a really square in your screen. And also when you're doing demo parties and you want to output that on the projector, oftentimes it's a huge pain to work.
Wasn't there like a patch of code, I'm not sure the correct name, that would convert it automatically into like a shader, I believe, that could be full screened? Am I talking out of my ass, or is this real?
Maybe out of your rib. It's not a shader, but it's an application. You run your demo through it, and it kind of hooks into the, I suppose it's STD out or something like that. It grabs whatever would go in the console, and it makes something on the screen. Then can be full screen. There's FTW7, and it was made, I think, by Morders. And there was Fragment, who also did thing, but that one kind of disappeared. The link I was looking for it, but it's the only link I had was broken. I've got, for those interested, there's on TMDC.scene.org. There's the links to those, even the
Okay. So what are the dates for TMDC again? What's the deadline if people want to do stuff?
Yeah, it's getting late. You can submit. You can whenever you want, but you can submit between the 11th of November, which is almost a month ago, to the 12th of December. So you have
10
a
days.
week and a half.
Yeah. Should be plenty of time to make a demo. Just get your converter working, and you're done.
Yeah. There's even template out there. You grab it, you swap a couple of graphics, and boom, it's done.
Are you doing a demo yourself, or just the invitation?
Since I'm part of a jury, it's jury based, so I can't really participate to it myself.
Okay, that's a shame. Well, I hope the compo goes well. I'm looking forward to seeing the entries of it, as every year, and I hope it keeps going. Like this is not the last year, as announced.
Yeah, it's a nice number to end on. You know, it's a round number, but otherwise I will have to continue doing it for 5 years at least.
I would vote for that. Okay, thank you so much for your participation, BarZoule. Let's move on to the Phoenix part of the talk, of the show. So let's start playing the first demo from the Phoenix playlist, and it's Contrast by Oxygen. So Phoenix, tell me, how did you end up doing stuff for the demo scene?
All right, well, it started a long time ago, probably around 1992 in high school. A friend of mine gave me discs of stuff like games, wares, and other cool PC stuff, and on like a couple of them were some demos, like Vector Demo by Ultraforce or Unreal by Future Crew. So I just got a Sound Blaster Pro and checked them out, and I thought, oh, this is really cool stuff. So I had to check out, see if there was more, and then he gave me some mods and a mod player. So I was hooked on mods, trying to collect those. And in '93, I started tracking using a horrible tracker called Mod Edit. But it it did the job, let me make mods for a little while until Scream Tracker came along. But, so it was mostly just local, upstate New York stuff for a year or two, until I finally got brave to start dialing into New York area BBSs, like the Sound Barrier, which was Renaissance's BBS. Probably Daredevil talked about that when he was on the show.
Oh yeah.
And Trans Central, which was the KLF BBS, being one of the hot mod groups at the time in the area. So
great name.
I
I love where they didn't have a problem with copyright back then. It's just, let's name our group KLF, and our demo will be, Transcendental. Yeah, sure, let's call it that.
Yeah, there was a lot of that in the scene back then, and I saw it in like old C64 groups too, where they would just take names like, oh, we're the Beastie Boys, or this or that. Really had no problem just like taking album titles for their demo titles and such. It was kind of a different time, I guess. But anyway, yeah, I saw an application for KLF and thought, oh, cool, I think I'll give it a try. And back then, there were probably like 3 or 4 members in the group, so I got. But
KLF weren't they mostly a music group, or am I confusing with KEFMF?
They are one and the same.
Okay.
KLF started as a music group, and they did some BBS intros way back when, which I threw on Pouet, that are kind of crappy, but they did good music. And yeah, in '95 they became Cosmic Free Music Foundation because they wanted to, talk about the music more. But then at the same time around then, Guru joined as a coder, and we made first demo to Nade 95, and then he made a few more demos in the next couple of years under the group.
Was that Little Green Men that we are about to see now? Or was this
Little Green Men was the first demo I was involved with. Guru was on IRC. He was like, hey, I want to do an assembly demo, need some music. I'm like, ooh, here. Because after seeing Flight, I kind of wanted to do something. So it's like, all right, and I came up with this cool song and thought, made it like 7 minutes long, because I thought, oh, this is probably going to be a long, big, serious demo. And then, he came back and
cut it to 3 minutes.
was kind of more like a funny, not so serious demo, but it just worked out. It's like, okay, cool. So he stretched the demo out a bit to fit the music, and we got somebody to enter it at Assembly in Finland, and it got something like 9th place, which surprised us because, to be honest, I didn't think it was even going to get shown.
I think this was the first demo from the North American scene that I ever watched when I was starting to collect demos. I was checking the info files, like, oh, North America, they actually do stuff there. And it was this.
Yeah. So,
Little Green Men.
Yep, and I helped Cosmic at the time also with releasing stuff. And I was in the group from '94 till probably around '97-ish or so, when just kind of got tired of making music for them. So, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, go on.
Well, I guess around that time I joined Hornet. helped them. I met up with them at NAID, a little bit at 95, but more at 96. And I had helped them out with reviewing stuff for the site and for the demo newsletter they had. And at NAID, they were like, "Oh, you just want to join the group?" And I said, "All right, sure." So did that, and I did music for a BBS intro, the FTP site intro for them. And
Hornet was really famous back then, especially, well, here in Europe. I guess supposedly, I don't know if you guys had the knowledge how big it was. Like, it was the main repository of when the BBSs ended and everyone had internet. It was like everybody went to Hornet to download the stuff. Like all the archives would end up in Hornet. It was like the main place where you would get all the stuff. Did you guys realize this when you were making the archive, or was it just we're doing stuff here and someone in Europe should probably be doing something similar?
Yeah, I think they did. It was Dan Wright who started the FTP CD-ROM.com site way back in like 92 or 93 before I even got on the internet, and that eventually turned into Hornet. And they did like the demo newsletter as well, but I know they had a lot of contacts with the European scene, and kind of knew that they were the place to go for a lot of European groups for FTP distribution.
So why did you guys decided to call it quits? I asked this question to Trickster before, but I guess I have to ask you as well.
Well, if you're talking about the archive itself, it went on until around 98, and it was really Snowman, Christopher Mann, who was in charge of the site itself, and he kind of lost interest in the scene in general. He moved out to California to get a job at Walnut Creek, who actually hosted the FTP site, but he got more into that and other things, and just decided at that point he didn't want to do it anymore, and there was really nobody else who had their hands full or had their hands on the site as much. So kind of
and at the time bandwidth was quite expensive. Like the main cost usually was bandwidth at the time.
Yeah, and they didn't have much disk space either. I know in the early days of Hornet, like 94, 95-ish, he had to delete a lot of stuff from the archive because they didn't have enough space. They had like I'm guessing like around a 9 gig hard drive or something like that. And so I know they took a lot of the music we didn't like as much and put it offline on CD-ROMs, but
it's curation.
At that point, FM.org, which became Scene.org, grew, I think, enough that we figured that they could take over as the main repository.
BarZoule, can you mute your microphone while you're not speaking? Because otherwise we get some feedback. So yeah, thanks. Sorry. So how did you, Phoenix, how did you end up with your other group names? You were part of KFMF, so how did you end up with, well, you already talked about Hornet, but how did you end up with Dennis Courtney 5? Or did you create Dennis Courtney 5?
I guess I kind of co-created it. That came from Pound Tracks and IRC around 96. I think they'd gotten more into like TPOLM and more of the crazy demo stuff, and Dennis Courtney was definitely a weird individual, but when I met him in person, he's like this totally normal guy. It's just that like the stuff that came out of his brain was so ridiculous. So yeah, around June 96, I think I might have come up with the title, the Dennis Courtney 5, because it was sort of like this big band thing, and it kind of made sense, but really didn't make any sense. I thought it was funny because it's the 5, but there were like more than 5 people in the group. It was kind of the orange TPOLM nonsense of the time.
I always saw Dennis Courtney 5 as the American version of TPOLM, like making funny stuff without caring that much about you know, the technical part behind the demo itself. Just making something for the fun of it.
Yeah, I think the North American scene really took itself very seriously up until around then. Like, everybody, their first demo they'd seen was Second Reality, and then Dope came around, and, you know, everybody just wanted to try to learn and to do better, and, like, they, you know, it's like, oh, can I even be in the demo scene? Am I good enough for this? No, I'm not good enough for it. And, you know, eventually, I think after a night or two, after a demo party or two, when we met each other in person, then a lot of people had smaller mini parties, house parties. Like, we had our mini Impulse parties, which was at GD's house a couple times, and there were a couple more, like, you know, barbecues and stuff that I'm sure the European scene does all the time. Yeah, and then you know,
I remember there was another party called Spring Break. Was that a big party or a smaller one?
It was a little smaller. That was in San Diego, California. That was at the UCSD, the University of California in San Diego. So there was a guy there who I guess put together something with the help of his college there, and that started in '97. I went in '99, and there were probably like about 30-40 people there each time, so it was kind of small, but
so the main problem with the American scene always been like to go to a party you have to take a plane trip to a lot of hours plane trip, not like 2 hours, 3 hours like we do in Europe. You guys have to go like to the other side of the continent to do that.
Yeah, I think that's the thing a lot of the Euro guys don't quite get, is that, you know, if you want to go to a party there, usually more often than not you can take a train or a car or whatever, and it's, you know, a few hours. Whereas here it's like, unless you're in the city that it's always happening in, you have to go much longer.
But now there seems to be a lot more demo parties than used to be back then. You have at Sea, you have Demo Splash, and there was just recently another one announced. Was it called SoCal? Supposed to be in Southern California.
It's kind of funny, after the few American parties and the Canadian parties like Nate and Coma, that the North American scene kind of sort of died out around 2000-ish. But then, let's see, Pilgrimage came around, which was in the middle of nowhere, so that didn't do too well. And then, yeah, a few more, like App Party around 2010. And yeah, it's kind of funny because now for the past few years, there have been like 3 parties a year, which is a lot better than it used to be. But I feel like the scene just isn't as big or strong as it was before. So, you know, you get like 30 or 40 people showing up at each one and maybe a few entries, which is cool, but it just, I feel like the glue keeping the whole scene together isn't quite there. So
yeah, but you do have like new people also doing stuff, like people that weren't active 10 years ago, like they're just showing up and doing stuff, and for new platforms and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of crossover. Like, you know, you don't have to like know everything about the demo scene or the music that came with it. There's a lot of people who are just interested in, you know, maybe like electronics and circuit bending, or the retro 8-bit scene. There's a really big chiptune scene, at least on the East Coast, between like New York and Philly, where they have events all the time. And, you know, I've gone to some of them and I've talked to people, and a lot of people in the US and Canada know what demos are and know what the demo scene is, which is pretty cool. It's just like either they don't have the time or will to take part in it, or they just don't know how to do it. So
yeah,
you know,
that's a shame.
If you reach out a little bit more, then, you know, you can at least get people to come out to more events and more parties and at least see what's going on. And I guess it's up to that at that point, it's up to them if they think it's cool enough to check out more of it.
Yeah, it's hard with all the internet that you have, like to create small groups like we used to have in Europe, which is usually what really made the demo scene grow so big in Europe. At least that's my opinion of it. Of course, the scene in Portugal is a lot different because it was always pretty much non-existent. So we are a bit like the American scene in that regard. We come more from the internet age instead of local groups doing stuff locally. But I always feel like that's what's missing, or that was what was missing in the US scene back then. But I don't know, you tell me, what do you think?
Well, I mean, back in the day, you know, there was the BBS scene was big. There was tons of BBSs. There were, actually, from what I've seen for like when I'm watching old Amiga demos, a lot of their headquarters were US BBSs, which is kind of funny. I don't know if that's because they could hack free phone calls to the US or whatever. But so yeah, that was big. The ANSI art scene was big, Acid and Ice and all of them. And then in like mid-90s, tracking was huge. We had Pound Tracks, a lot of North American guys there, and music contest and Hornet and all that. And
yeah, I remember the music contest. I was forgetting about that, but that was pretty big for the tracking scene back then. Like, was a landmark. Like, everyone wanted to do a track for the music contest.
Yeah, it was big. It was like, you know, the first like really global kind of scene-related contest, and by like 3 or 4 or 5 in the mid-90s, they had like a couple hundred entries at least from countries all over the world. It's pretty neat.
So right now we are watching the best demo that you ever did, which features Pokey the Penguin. So how did you get the idea of making a demo with Pokey the Penguin? It just had to be done?
One of the more obscure ones. Well, I was kind of interested and found out about like the Pokey the Penguin webcomics a little before this intro came out. So, you know, there are always like these inside jokes, tropes, and things that are associated with a group. And, you know, I just like, hey, let's take some Pokey stuff and throw it in an intro. So I took that, and I took like the horrible Courier font that he uses for the comics.
What do you mean horrible? It's great. It makes everything look better.
Well, it's hilarious, of course, but you have to like, yeah. Like,
I love Pokey the Penguin. The lack of humor is so funny that it's overwhelming.
Yeah,
you have to read. You have to read it to really understand it, the point behind it. Let's move on to another demo that you did as Dennis Courtney 5. This one is called Smackdown. So what can you tell us about Smackdown?
Alright, so this was 2000-ish. I think I entered it at Coma. I guess it's, you know, I was still doing, well, I still am, doing Quick Basic at the time, but before, you know, it was just like, well, I can do it because it's utter crap. But at this point, I wanted to try to make, you know, something a little bit cooler, something I could actually enter like as a serious demo at a party. So I took a lot of like the DC5 tropes and memes and tried to put them together into something a little bit bigger than before.
You made a demo about it.
Yeah, made a demo about it.
So why Quick Basic? Was it just the first language that you learned, or?
When I was young, I started in Quick Basic, and you know, kept like I made like a few little games for it, and by the time CAC and CAC 2 came around for DC5, it kind of became a joke for the group. It's like, yeah, we make our effects in Quick Basic, but I mean, I took computer science in college, so. You know, you'd think I would at least try to, you know, do some C code and stuff, but I had more fun with it in Quick Basic. It was, it was like, you know, hell with it. I can do it, so why not? And no one, and by this time, by this time people were moving on to Windows, so I thought at the time like this would be the last DOS demo I'll do. It's like, so I'll go out with a bang on that platform.
With an ultimate Quick Basic demo.
Yeah, you know, try to impress people a little bit. It's like, oh, I didn't know you could do that with Quick Basic.
Can do everything.
Like references here. In the beginning, you see the two guys like on the keyboards with the lightning coming out.
Mm-hmm.
That was our DMDC was on the right, and I think Beak was on the left. He was a popular musician, tracking musician at the time. I think you can still find him in some chiptune music discs around. That's T-Fin with the big poofy hair, and Zab next to him. A couple other DC5 guys. The DJ Higa was this really bad Swedish music guy, and I guess like DMDC and some of us other guys just generally made fun of him because he did such horrible stuff. That's Axel with the tunnel part. It's like a picture of him drunk at some rave or something.
Awesome particle effects.
Lots and lots of references. And I know TPOLM did that too with like Heike Holm, and it's got to do that stuff. And I like I mean, I can't watch it because I'm getting like 1 frame a minute here, but at the end where there's like the fake out text ending, I thought that was fun, and then it does like the we just plain suck at the bottom. That's the reference to Elite Group at the end of Kasparov. It says we are very.
Yeah, it's a great take. Love it.
This has the hidden part too. Let's see. No, it's.
Fuck.
That would be.
Fatally bad demo has occurred at Coma 2000.
Yeah, that got some good laughs at the party. I remember that. That was, you know, just wanted to get a.
Oh, this is the Commodore 64 version. I think we played this demo when Trickster was on the show, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Alcatraz bars.
Of course, yeah, definitely very C64 inspired, and I nicked the tune from Format. It was like a Melon Design hidden part somewhere.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the next demo, which is Abort Retry Fail. Oh no, this was Abort Retry Fail. No, this was SmackDown. Okay, so now it's Abort Retry Fail. With that thing, that thing was ripped from Commander Keen, right?
Yeah. The thing at the beginning. There was some Commander Keen references in here. But at this time, this was 2009, so this was 9 years after the other one. So I'd pretty much stopped doing quick basic demos around then, and when Block Party 09 came around, I decided to get back into it because I felt at that point that DOS was retro and it would be cool again to do something. And I apparently was right, because
holy crap, it's a cube.
Yeah.
With good at shading.
Yeah, once I figured out how to do garage shading, I actually had kind of like this complicated scripting engine for this, where to get vector objects to sync better with the music and move and twist around and everything.
Donuts falling.
It was just a matter of like getting silly ideas into my head and then writing them down as like notes, like, oh yeah, I'll do that and that and that for this demo. And I think the demo was probably about like 80% done when I got to Block Party. So I spent a lot of the time in my hotel room with a lot of energy drinks.
Party coding.
Yep. And I remember like it was the first entry in the Wild compo. So and the way they did it was like, okay, come up here and show your demo. So this was DOS, so I had to like try to get DOSBox working, and it was a little frustrating. It took some work, but.
Did you just take your computer and use?
No, I didn't bring my computer with me. I just brought the demos, so I had to like, set the DOSBox on their system and run it. And it's kind of weird, like being the first in the compo, because I know it's the European party thing is to try to save the best for last. So it's kind of good for that. But it worked out great there because it was, you know, everybody had a short attention span, and like, you know, it got them like excited and started at the beginning. You know, like even Jason Scott, who ran the party, was like, "Yeah, that's what I'm talking about." So,
those greetings there were great as well, like the DOS listing of stuff. And I saw Minimal Artifact there. I didn't remember that you greeted Minimal Artifact. That's awesome.
Yeah, like everyone who's, you know, making kind of like weird artistic or just funny stuff. Like I think Email Out is in there. Also, a few little things, like instead of Fairlight I put Failright, and instead of ASD I have SAD, and Farbroush I had Barfroush.
Oh, nice glitch effect. Illegal function call.
Yeah, I think glitching was after like the chiptune and 8-bit scene was starting to make glitching popular. I put that in at the end.
A label not defined. Disk media error.
Those are all quick basic errors. I just like listed out all the quick basic errors there were and put them in the text file and then randomly threw them up on the screen.
That works.
Yep. And I don't know if it's on the hidden part yet or not.
Yeah, wireframe cubes.
Yeah. Okay, so the Smacked-Out hidden part, you just typed in smack space C64 and it ran. This one, at the end screen of the demo where it just says abort retry fail ? And it won't like let you, it'll keep doing that until you hit escape. If you type in like STARGAZER, it comes up with this, which is an ode to the fractal cube part at the end of the demo, but in very minimal wireframe.
Okay. A few more demos still left. We have Quack by K-Rad Productions and DC5.
Yeah, K-Rad was Tom Germano, GZ. He made a demo with Basshead for Coma 2000.
And I remember the sound of this one. Soundtrack of this one is awesome.
Yeah, this was Basshead, who was a really good musician. And he was kind of in KF Cosmic for a little while, and he was in FM for a while. He did stuff with Necros. He'd been kind of long gone from the scene by this point, but got together again with GZ, and all three of us were in the state of Connecticut, so we were actually able to meet up at a studio that Basshead used and work on the demo together, which was pretty cool because, you know, I could show I could like show them the graphics that I worked on for this and get, you know, like swap ideas back and forth. So when they worked on this, GZ actually worked on 2 demos that year, and I think the original idea was to enter both of them at the Pilgrimage Party, but decided to save the next one for 2004, and he won again, so it worked out.
How to recycle your demos. Well, not recycle, but save them.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one I used to play a lot.
But yeah, it was cool to see Basshead doing music again after a long absence. And then after this, he put together the Trax 20-year reunion party that was in, I think it was in San Francisco. So I went to that too and met up with a bunch of guys again.
I remember seeing photos from that, from the Trax reunion.
Yep. And then, oh, that was the 10-year reunion. I'm sorry, that was 2004. He did do a 20-year reunion.
Okay, so I think I saw the photos from the 20-year reunion, yeah.
Yeah, so the 20-year one was 2014, so that would have been 3 years ago. That was more just like a house party. The 2004 was supposed to be a lot bigger, and it was actually at a hotel space. Probably like about 40 or so people there. That was neat. There was like a cash bar.
But I think those parties are better when it's like smaller number of people. You actually have time to, you know, socialize with people. When it starts being more than 100 people, you don't really have time to talk with others that much.
Yeah, I mean, you know, definitely being social is good with it, and you know, the people like going out to eat afterward or during it, and you know, go out to like a bar or some other event that's going on at the same time. Is pretty cool.
Okay, so that was Kvak by Kirad and DC5. We have one more demo called Trank by DC5. And is this one still quick basic?
Yep, still quick basic.
Have you made any demos that are not quick basic?
I don't think I have. The only non-quick basic thing I think I've done for the scene code-wise is I did an ITM to XM converter in Turbo Pascal.
Keen on the chat is mentioning that there was an EMAG called Tracks Weekly as well. Was that also by Hornet? I remember it existing at the same time as Demo News.
It was. Yeah, there was. I mean, there was
later.
Demo News at the
Wasn't
time.
it by Copland?
Yeah, it was not quite. It wasn't really Hornet, but it was in the same spirit as Demo News, but more for like the tracking music scene at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was interviewed in that.
I remember I started Demo Journal a little after Demo News ended, and Tracks Weekly was active at the same time that I was doing Demo Journal. So, so that's why I recall Tracks Weekly. And then when Tracks Weekly died, some of the reviewers that were active on Tracks Weekly were doing reviews for Demo Journal as well, so we tried to keep a little bit of the vibe. We had like a mod of the week thing on the Demo Journal to keep the Tracks Weekly spirit alive.
Yeah, I think Copland did another text make too called Static Line. That's just coming back into my head. Yeah,
that's true. Okay, now I have to Google up real quick. Tracks Weekly. Let's see who did Tracks Weekly. Main PC design of the 90s. Oh, there's a Wikipedia article focused on the music.
It hasn't been deleted yet.
Apparently not. Yeah, don't mention it before it gets removed. After closing, it was largely replaced by Copland Static Line. So maybe Tracks Weekly was something else. Let's see if I can check one of the latest articles. The last one was in '98, so yeah, that was about the time I started Demo Journal. And it was by, let's see the editor. Yeah, Copland. Or no, Copland did an article on it, so but he wasn't the...
No?
Okay. Okay, but yeah, it was the same people that were around that carry on the legacy. But at the time, it made a lot of sense to do these kind of what's it called, newsletters, where you had text and it went out to everyone and that kind of stuff. Then when the internet got more common, it stopped making a little bit of sense, or not so much sense, because you could just access stuff directly.
Yeah, I mean, back then email delivery was the way to go, but yeah, eventually like when social media took over and people were going places, or there were sites like, you know, Poet and such.
Yeah, Poet showed up. Because before you had Hornet Archive, you had scene.org, but you couldn't really comment there. You could just go there to download the stuff. You could see like the stars that it had or the rating. On scene.org you see the number of downloads that it had, but you couldn't really comment on the things, and that's why Poet became so popular so fast, because people could, you know, go there and start flame wars over stuff.
Let's see, the music for this Trank demo was done by Recall, who is actually the hacker who was one of the original members of KLF with me.
Okay.
I did a co-op tune with him back in '95, but yeah, I still keep up with a lot of old scene guys on Facebook. It's cool to see what they're doing.
That's a pretty fucked up nickname to have. Your nickname is called the Hacker. You're gonna run into trouble at some point.
Well, back then, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
It was after the whole BBS, you know, police breaking down on them everyone, so it wasn't that big a deal. Plus, there's a musician called the Hacker. All right, this is one of the sillier demos.
It's awesome. I love it.
So yeah, this is poet meme all the way. I
was gonna ask if this was before or after Bits started doing the illegal telepathy meme on Poet.
It's after, yeah, because I got the idea. It's like, you know, why hasn't anybody used the illegal telepathy meme in a demo before? So it's like, oh, I got to do this. And then it's like I took all the one-liners and threads and stuff where there was, you know, the pound sign, illegal police seizure into all kinds of crazy shit, and put them into a text file, and I think I made some random art out of it here.
The rest is history. Trickster is saying that this was the great evolution of your coding skills.
Please, this is the easiest coding of all of them. It's like 100 lines of quick basic.
You know, the best stuff is the simpler one.
Yeah, well, I guess, you know, it's making crap look good. That's, you know, we do with a lot of this stuff, and, you know, once I get ideas, it's like, oh, I can take, you know, the DOS text characters and do this and mix them together like that and kind of make some art out of them. Then, you know,
those little paths of ANSI art is reminding me of a demo that you probably recall. It was a demo, I believe, from an American guy who had like a dungeon generator for NetHack kind of stuff, and the demo was going through those levels. Do you remember this?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think that was the Green Grapes, Not Foolish.
Okay.
Or Not Foolish 2 or something like that. Yeah, where like the end part of it, it was like going through a NetHack roguelike screen while the credits
Green
were
Apes.
showing.
I have to check that later. I've been trying to recall the name of that demo. I know it was from an American guy, but I could never find
it was a Spring Break demo, Not Foolish 2, Green Grapes. Yeah.
Okay, I'll check it out. And this one that we're watching now is the best demo for CGA lately, and until you guys make another one. It's called 8088 miles per H. What does the H stand for?
Miles per hour.
Hour, right? Of course.
Yeah. Back to the Future reference.
How much did you collaborate on this demo?
Well, once I found out that Trickster and a couple other 8088 coders were getting into this, I told them, you know, I wanted to do something. So he'd already made the monotone PC speaker tracker a few years before this, so...
Well, wait, doesn't this go against your Quick Basic principle? Aren't you supposed to only make demos with Quick Basic?
Well, I didn't code it, so it doesn't matter what it's made in.
Ah, okay,
all I did for it was the music for the first part. So I, you know, said, okay, so I'll do, you know, I'll try to make something in monotone for it, and I came up with some ideas and samples here and there, but I ended up taking in Amiga mod, and first I converted that Amiga mod to monotone, and then I kind of remixed it a bit, put like a swing tempo on it, and went with that for the final thing, because it seemed to work, because it kind of had sort of the attitude of modern C64 demo music. Yeah,
it sounds a bit chiptune-ish.
Yeah, it's funny, like the second part, Vert's music for it is totally different. He definitely has, well, he does a lot of game music for a living, so yeah. I think he's more inspired by, you know, like Nintendo or more like cinematic music, really. So it's kind of crazy, but it's pretty neat.
So since this is the last demo that we're gonna play from you, what are you working on next, or what's your plan to do next?
Well, I have one more DC5 demo on the way. I wanted to get it done. Or yes, Quick Basic. I have the whole idea out in my head. I've had it like the design in my head for a while. You know, something easy enough to get away with, but still pretty fresh and cool. Wanted to do it for at Party 17, but I've been distracted by things, including Pouet, and so once I get done with that crap, I'll get back to it, and hopefully for the next at Party I'll get it done. Okay, cool. And also, there is another 8088 project in the works. Don't know when that's going to get done, but hopefully next year. I'm not really taking part in it yet, but I get to see what they're talking about because I'm on the mailing list. So
okay,
it should be really cool. It should have a lot of new
leaked information. You heard it first here, guys. There's a new 8088 demo coming.
Yeah, I think Trickster might have brought it up briefly, but when he was talking, but yeah, good stuff.
Yep. What about you, BarZoule? What are you working on next?
No real plan. There's been some 4K ideas I've been working on forever now. Not sure if it will end up anywhere. Otherwise, we'll see. Future will tell.
Well, what's your next demo party that you're planning to attend?
I have no idea, actually. I've been quite busy recently with my daughter, which is taking a lot of my time compared to in the past. But we never know.
Okay.
But nothing planned so far.
What about you, Phoenix? What's the next demo party that you're planning?
Probably gonna end up being at Party again. That'll be around June.
Is it close? Is it close to where you live?
It's relatively close. It's about an hour-and-a-half drive for me, so
okay.
I've been doing it every year. There's also Synchrony, which happens in New York City, which I haven't been to yet. So if I get the opportunity, I'll try going, but might not. And then Demo Splash is a little bit further. It's probably like 6 hours away.
Okay.
Yep, that's all I know about.
Alright, if anyone in the chat has any specific questions or comments that you would like to make for our guests, this is the perfect opportunity to do so. Otherwise...
Yeah, I haven't been able to read. I don't know if I can read the chat or not, but I haven't seen it, so if they've been saying anything or asking anything...
I've been relaying most of it, but yeah, it's been an active chat. People have been participating, but they haven't asked any specific questions, so if they want to ask something, this is the right time to do so. Neonai is asking, what constitutes a good demo? So that's a tricky one. Phoenix, do you want to start trying to answer that?
Well, I used to be a demo reviewer for Hornet, so I guess I should know. You have to have code, graphics, and music. They all have to be good. You can't have one or two of the three being good. You have to have like some kind of design scheme, like at the very least transitions between the effects, if not a theme to it, but a theme is certainly good to have. Try not to rip off others too much. Be a little innovative or creative. But yeah, I mean, for me, anything that has good graphics, good design, good music, and good effects is a good demo.
Okay, what about for you, BarZoule? What constitutes a good demo for you?
I would easily go with the same, just saying that good graphics and code and music is important, for sure. But I would say that more than that, what maybe not a good but a really great demo, it's the wow effect. If there's something you see happening and you're just wow, or the music and you're just getting into it, there's those moments that happen, but are not so. They're not happen so often, but sometimes it happens when you're just puzzled into what have I just seen. That's really cool, and that's one of the feelings that, you know, it means it was a good demo.
Yeah, I'm forced to agree. I think I like more when the music fits the effects well, even if the effects are very simple. I like that it has that cohesion. At least that's what I usually look for. Of course, it doesn't mean that it's bad if it doesn't have that, but that's one of the main things that I look for in a good demo. Keen is asking Phoenix to talk a little bit more about the Cosmic group, to tell us about it. Well, you already mentioned it a little bit, but I guess do you want to comment a little bit more about it?
Sure. Sorry, I have a cat underneath here. Yeah, they started like in the early mid 90s in the New York, New Jersey area as a few music guys doing mostly like techno house music. And then in '94 they went on the Trax IRC channel and started recruiting a lot and sort of expanded their music styles a little bit. In '95,
didn't they have like 100 members at some point?
No, that was Epinition, I think.
Okay.
I think that's how it's pronounced, Epinition or something. But there was a group on Trax that basically accepted anybody who showed up. So yeah, they grew to like 100 members and then kind of collapsed. But Cosmic, when I joined, it was only like 5 people, but they grew to about 25 or 30. So they became really big and really well known, at least in the music scene. Put out a few music discs and they had a lot of releases. And I think the group had a big impact on that tracking scene and net labels in general, because after them in like the mid late 90s, a whole bunch of other groups started like popping up doing their releases, like having like a big organization of like, you know, doing regular releases and then doing like, you know, albums or EPs or stuff like that.
Did Cosmic release MP3s? I think they closed before the whole MP3 craze started.
Yeah,
popping up.
they really stuck doing track music. There were a few MP3s toward the end, but by the time like MP3 net labels started popping up, Cosmic was kind of dying down, so it didn't really happen that way.
Okay, so I think that's it for the show. We have a shout out from Branch. They're saying thank you from everyone at the Ren Christmas party. So we greet you, Ren Christmas party people, also from the stream. I don't know why I'm talking Finnish, because I want them to really understand me.
It is really addictive accent to do.
Yes, it is. Hardy is also
the first syllable of every word.
Yeah. Now everyone start or get back to working on your text mode demo compo demo. 10 days left. Yeah, 10 days should be plenty of time to make a demo. So please go make a demo about it. Do it in text mode. Submit it to the compo. You have 10 days to do it, so no excuses. Just go make a demo about it. Okay, so that's it. Do you guys want to do any final shout-outs? Do you want to thank anyone or anything like that? BarZoule?
Just thanks for watching here, and that's it.
Okay, what about you, Phoenix?
Yep, thanks everyone for watching, and greets to everyone keeping the demo scene alive in one way or another.
Keep it alive. Okay, so I think that's it for this show and this season of Mystery Demoscene Theater 9000. We will be back in January with new guests, maybe remodel the format a little bit. I don't know yet. I'm still thinking about it. I would like to thank the Patreons that support the show. You can see it, their name down there. Garfield, Punctured, Jeff, Paul Jean Popit, Jakub Pamulski, El Topo, Fulcrum, and Pixel Nerve. So thank you guys for the support. If you guys want to support the show, you can do it on patreon.com/psenough. You don't have to do it. If you want to do it, it's only because you really care. It's like buying me a beer, but every month. If you don't do it, it's fine. I still do the show. You still get to see it. Everything is archived on YouTube, so feel free to check it and share it and all that jazz. So thank you guys for watching, all our viewers and everybody who will watch on YouTube later on. And thank you, of course, our guests BarZoule and Phoenix for joining me today on the show. So thank you, everybody. Take care. See you around next time.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. See ya.